Inequalities. Okay, we learned how to write them from words to actual numbers. Now we're going to learn how to graph them and solve them. So we're just going to jump right into it. These are called linear inequalities of one variable because, well, they only have one variable. Linear because they make a line. So solution of an inequality in one variable will look like this. X is greater than 4. Okay, I always read from the variable, especially when dealing with graphing. Even if it's written like this. These are the exact same. Because I read from the variable. If I say X is, and then I see a big gap here, that's X is greater than 4. I always read from the variable. It helps me when I graph. Because when I graph this, it's going to look like this right here. I want to see arrows on your graph. I want to see 0 on your graph. And then whatever number you're plotting. So here it's going to be an open circle at 4. And then because it's X is greater than goes to the right. Less than is left. So the only thing that I ever remembered was less is left, therefore greater than must be to the right. Okay? So less is left, therefore everything else goes to the right. So here's a nice little chart for you. You might put it on your formula sheet or your note cards, whatever it is that you use on the test. So on greater than and less than, these are exclusive, meaning they exclude the number that they are talking about. So up here where I said X is greater than 4, that means it can't be 4, but it can be anything bigger than it. So exclusive excludes that. So we're going to use an open circle. So it just looks like this. Just an open dot on a number line. Okay? Just an open dot on a number line. On greater than or equal to and less than or equal to, these are inclusive. That means they include the number. Okay? They have a dot or a closed circle, whatever you want to call it. So I just call it a dot. So here on this number line, when I plot this point, it's a closed circle. Okay? It is a closed circle. So I'm going to draw the arrows on this now. To the right is greater. To the left is less. Again, to the right is greater. To the left is less. And this only works if you read from the variable. Okay. When in doubt, just run a test point, and I'll explain that here in a second. Any questions on that part? Okay. Example 1 then. They give us a set of values, 0, 2, 4, 6. And they say, is that a solution for this inequality? So we have to plug it in. So here's the equation. 4y minus 5 is greater than or equal to 11. So I'm going to plug in the numbers that they gave us, starting with 0. So 4 multiplied by 0 minus 5 is greater than or equal to 11. When I solve this down, 4 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 5 is negative 5. So negative 5 is greater than or equal to 11. True or false? False. That's not true at all, right? So it is false. That is not true. You can indicate that with an X. You can indicate it with an F, whatever you would like. Okay. On the next one, it says plug in 2. So 4 multiplied by 2. I'm just plugging it in for the Y. 4 multiplied by 2 minus 5 is greater than or equal to 11. So I'm going to do this part first. It's 8. 8 minus 5 is 3. And 3 is greater than or equal to 11. True or false? 3 is greater than or equal to 11. True or false? It is false. Again. Now we're going to plug in 4. So 4 multiplied by 3 minus 5 is going to be greater than or equal to 11. That gets me 12. 12 minus 5 is 7. 7 is greater than or equal to 11. True or false? False again. Easy enough. And the last one is where we plug in, I was supposed to plug in 4. Let's plug in 4, I guess. 4 multiplied by 4 minus 5 is greater than or equal to 11. So 4 and 4 make 16. 16 minus 5 is 11 is greater than or equal to 11. True or false? True. So I give that check mark and a T. Then they give us 6, so 4 multiplied by 6 minus 5 is greater than or equal to 11. 4 times 6 is 24. 24 minus 5 is 19. 19 is greater than or equal to 11. True or false? True. So the ones that are solutions for the problem are the ones that are true. So 4 is a solution, 6 is a solution, but all the rest are not. So you need to state that in your answer. So you would say 4 and 6 are solutions for the problem set, because that was what the question asked. Or you would say 4 and 6 are solutions for the problem set and none of the rest are, depending on how much you want to write. Okay, let's do another example on how we're going to graph these. So let's do example 2. For these, they give us a simple variable and inequality with a number. I don't expect a lot on these number lines, guys. It's really simple what I ask for. I want arrows, I want 0, and then I want whatever the answer is. Really, really easy. 5.8 is the answer. Now, is this greater than symbol inclusive or exclusive? It's exclusive. It excludes it. So I'm going to put an open circle. And since it says G is greater than 5.8, I got to go to the right. Okay? Draw an arrow to the right. That was A. B gives us V is greater than or equal to a 6. So I already want to ask, is it inclusive or exclusive? It's inclusive. It includes the 6. So I'm going to put 6 on my number line, close dot. Since it is greater than, it goes to the right. On C, it is x is less than or equal to negative 2. Start my number line. I want arrows. I want 0. I want negative 2. The reason I make you put 0 on there is so that I know that you know where it goes. So negative 2 is on the left side of 0. Is this inclusive or exclusive? Let's start asking specific people if we don't get answers. Okay, Levi, inclusive or exclusive? It's inclusive, so I'm going to put a closed dot. Less is left, so I go to the left. On part D, it says f is less than 10. Notice I read from the variable, f is less than 10. Raylan, inclusive or exclusive? It's exclusive, good. So I plot 10, and then I put a circle. F is less than 10, so less is left. So I'm going to go that direction. Now, if we want to run a test point, we can do that. To run a test point on all of these, we're going to go back through and practice this. We'll just choose a number in the direction of our arrow. So we choose an easy number, okay? So if 5.8 is pointing to the right, I would choose, let's say 10, okay? Because 10 is to the right of 5.8 if I continue down my number line. So I'd put 10 in the place of G, and I'd say 10 is greater than 5.8. That's true, then it works. If I had my arrow going this way, I would use 0. And I would say 0 is greater than 5.8, which is not true. So I'd have to switch the direction of my arrow if I found something that was not true. And that's why we did all those tests earlier. On this one, my arrow is pointing to the right, so I'm going to use 10 again. So 10 is greater than or equal to 6. True. Had my arrow been pointing at my 0, I'd use 0. 0 is greater than or equal to 6. Not true. So I'd have to switch the direction of my arrow. Okay? So the ones that you really want to use this test point on is the one that you read from the variable because it's on the right hand side. It makes it a little more difficult. So I'm going to run a test point on this one. I'm going to use 0. And I'd say 10 is greater than 0. That's true. So I put my arrow in the right direction. Okay? Use easy test points. Don't use something crazy. Oh, this is 5.8. I'm going to use 6.2. Okay? Easy, nice round numbers. I use 10 and 0. Those are the only two numbers I use. Okay, example 3. We're going to write inequality from the graph, so we're going to need to look at this. I'll put it on the screen. And you are going to tell me what to write. Of course, I'm going to put my variable first, so we have to make up a variable. Whoa. What in the world is going on there? Sorry. Switch pages on me. Alright. So, since it's letter A, I'm going to use A as my variable. Which way is the arrow going? In the greater than or the less than direction? It's going to the what? Greater than direction. So I'm going to write in my greater than symbol. Is it inclusive or exclusive? It's exclusive, so I just leave it as a greater than. And what is my number? -1. So it looks like that when we're done. A is greater than -1. I wrote it down as we said it. So next one, I'm going to use B because that's the letter that we're on. It's going again to the right, so is that greater than or less than? It's greater than. Is it inclusive or exclusive? It's inclusive, so we must put a bar underneath our greater than. And then what number is it at? 25. So our answer will look like B is greater than or equal to 25. Next one is C. These are fractional. So I'm going to use again the letter of it. So C is, it's going to the left, so it is less than. Inclusive or exclusive? Exclusive, good. And the number? 3/4. Okay? So the answer would be anything to the left of 3/4, not including 3/4. Looks like that. C is less than 3/4. Okay, on D, again, I'm using that letter. It's going to the left again, so that's less than, good. Is it inclusive or exclusive? So it's less than or equal to, and where's our number? 150. That's our answer. Okay, any questions over that? I think that's probably the easiest part of the lesson. Okay, last example, and then you can go ahead and get started. Example 4 says, in this application of practice time, Mario does not take a break until Marie does not take a break until she has practiced playing the violin for at least half of an hour. A, write an inequality to represent the number of hours that Marie must practice before she takes a break. So we're going to establish a variable. I'm going to call it B for break. Okay, she cannot take a break until she has practiced for at least half an hour. So what does that mean for our inequality? What does at least tell us? Greater than or equal to, right? So the break can take place greater than or equal to how much time? 30 minutes, or are we writing this in terms of an hour? So we're talking about hours, so half of an hour. Okay, next we're going to graph that. So I start my number line, I put 0 on there, and then I put 0.5 on there. Is it inclusive or exclusive? Inclusive, so it's a dot or a closed circle. Is it going to the right or the left? Goes to the right. Greater than goes to the right. That's all. That's all we needed. Any questions? Okay, remember, refer to your chart on inequalities. We made a chart of all of the words that we might see